sexy is the...
Welcome to Raw is Jericho!
The following announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
Listen up, you blind slapnut.
If I can be serious for a minute.
This is the Flex Network. This is the Flex Network. Flex on them. Flex on everybody.
The real reason I came here tonight is because we are live!
We Flex are NXT.
It's go time, folks!
Sweet! A little bit of the bubbly.
The preceding announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
For life.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all of the ages, we are back in the saddle again after a long month off. Man, the old Flex Network Wrestling, area has sure turned up the heat a little bit in here after a little while. But yes, we are back. We are live and in living color back here on the airways for you all the time here. It is the SnowMan. I'm back. It's been a while, guys. It's been a while. Man, a lot of things have been going on in the world of wrestling. And while we have not been on here talking about it, your boy's been keeping an eye on it. A small, an eye. Keeping an eye on the world of professional wrestling. And to say the least, what in the blue hell has been going on? Literally, I don't know what has been happening that would make any sense, to say the least, to say to a sane person that this was okay to do. I mean, I just don't know how things could go so crazy, so bonkers in a month that we've been off. I mean, the last time we were on here, we were talking about WrestleMania Backlash. And then in a span of a month, I think we're on the road to WrestleMania Backlash. And in the span of a month, we've had a lot of people fired. We've had a world champion had to vacate his world title. And we'll get to that in a short little bit. And we've had great news of WWE and AEW hitting the road again. So, like I've said, a lot of things have been happening here in the last month. And we just got to get our heads around everything. I mean, just been crazy, just so crazy around here. But let's get out of this hell for a moment. Literally, let's just get out of this hell to say, actually, you know what? Let's switch things up. And boom. All right, we're a little bit more clear now. But let's get back to our regularly scheduled set. Shebang. All right, we're back to our normal set. But in a month, what can go wrong? Let's count the ways, ladies and gentlemen, because let's go back. Let's start with some positives. WWE and AEW are going back on the road again. Great. I applaud. That's fine. We're getting to the end of the road for this whole pandemic. And again, I know I keep saying this out here with the pandemic, the light at the end of the tunnel. Hope it gets to the end. The light's there. We could see the end of the tunnel. Okay, some things are coming back to normal. Crowds are coming back. I mean, we just saw at Double or Nothing at Daly's Place, full packed house, enjoying themselves with passion and enthusiasm of what we've been missing as wrestling fans. Great action, live reaction at a pay-per-view, or actually at a wrestling event. I mean, we saw it at WrestleMania, guys. We saw it at WrestleMania not that long ago on both nights in the last 2 months ago. We saw it. We saw passion back, and we, granted, it was at half capacity, not even that, 25,000 each night, so 50,000 per night, or for both nights. And you could feel in the people there that they were happy to be back at the stadium, at the arena, to watch wrestling. And it proved even more at Double or Nothing. We're going to talk about that in a little bit too, because we haven't forgotten about what happened at Double or Nothing. We've been keeping an eye on, but it was a great event, guys. But now the announcement that WWE is going back on the road starting in mid-June, July, and the first pay-per-view outside of the Thunderdome, which after once they hit the road, Thunderdome, thank you for all of you've done. We got to see have somewhat of a fans there, but now WWE is going to be heading back on the road, going to different cities, mostly on the East Coast, which sucks. The closest I think they get to the West Coast is San Diego for a stint, maybe Phoenix, I think, maybe Denver, but yeah, they're not going to be hitting the West Coast, not even up to Washington, at least for a little bit, I would think. I would probably say that for a pay-per-view, maybe the Royal Rumble. Just saying. We were supposed to get that before the pandemic, hopefully. That's what we were all hoping for, that we were going to get, T-Mobile was supposed to be the host site for the Royal Rumble on the road to WrestleMania in LA. But now that the whole schedule's been changed up on that, with Dallas is up next. So maybe somewhere East Coast is going to get the Rumble come January. I would actually save the Royal Rumble for Seattle for 2 years from now, when it's supposed to go to Hollywood for WrestleMania. But back on track. So Money in the Bank is going to be in July 18th in Fort Worth, Texas. And it just can, again, this also brings up another part for me on everything's changed in the last month. I mean, we found out that the first non-Thunderdome pay-per-view is going to be Money in the Bank next month. But they switched up the pay-per-view order, and they put Hell in a Cell this month. I mean, literally, we could feel the heat here at the Wrestling Week in Review show that June 20th is going to be Hell in a Cell. I can understand maybe September being a Hell in a Cell. They did it once. But the month of July? Why would you not want to put Hell in a Cell in October when you're going to be on the road? I mean, it's literally one of your better pay-per-views. I mean, under the pretense that it's Hell in a Cell. I mean, you cannot tell me that the Hell in a Cell is still popular. Is not, popular than it is now. It's Hell in a Cell. I mean, it's one of your babies. I mean, if it was Elimination Chamber, that'd be a different story, because that's a different feel. But it's Hell in a Cell, the devil's favorite playground, the devil's home, where we had Mankind thrown off the cell, Shawn Michaels incoming, bloody mess, and that chair shot inside Hell in a Cell to Shawn Michaels, just staggering, and poof, good night. This is the 6-man Armageddon Hell in a Cell. Undertaker versus Randy Orton and Armageddon. That was memorable. But Hell in a Cell should be something that the fans You want to show the fans live and in person. Personally, just saying, I could think of, maybe Money in the Bank could be, put in July. I wouldn't mind Money in the Bank in July, especially if you're going to put that on the road. Be that the first, bring back the first crowds, actual crowds as you're traveling again. Bring Money in the Bank back. That's great. But I would have kept everything the same as it was with the pay-per-view order. Because normally, if you're thinking about July, yeah, you got Money in the Bank, maybe Great American Bash in that aspect. October is a Hell in a Cell, maybe even No Mercy. And then, I would have probably moved the September pay-per-view at least. At least move the September pay-per-view. Because they'll probably Clash of Champions. Again. And I would have put that in the Thunderdome at least one more time before we traveled. Just saying. But again, a lot of things changed in the WWE, or at least in WWE for the scheduling. Hell in a Cell is coming up next month. We know 2 of the matches. We'll get to that in a little bit. But now, and also on AEW side for traveling, they're also going to be on the road starting July 7th. And they have already announced their next pay-per-view after, during Double or Nothing. We're going to get All Out September 5th. It's Chi-Town, the Windy City. Chicago is coming back to where it all began for AEW in the Windy City. And I can't wait. That's going to be a blast in the month of September. Actually, September 5th is going to be great. Should be fun and a blast. And let's just call it right now. I'm even going to call it right now. AEW is kicking the living crap out of WWE. In the one show a week that they have, compared to WWE's 3 that's on TV, AEW is kicking the crap out of WWE. It's kicking the crap out of Raw. It's kicking the crap out of SmackDown. And it is not necessarily beating the crap out of NXT, but it's on equal footing ground, at least with them, in an aspect of content. And especially after the last month or so of what WWE's been doing, releasing a ton of superstars. Just Wednesday, this past Wednesday, they released Braun Strowman, Aleister Black, Lana, Ruby Riott, Buddy Murphy, and Santana Garrett. Okay, Santana Garrett, I'm not going to talk about that much. I mean, yeah, she's a good wrestler, but didn't really see her that often. She was down in NXT, I would think. Okay. Braun Strowman. Before the hate and everything gets completely thrown out there with this, what's being thrown out is that, of course, it's contract related with him because he signed a 5-year hitch, $1 million per year. And as popular as Braun Strowman is, let's be honest, as popular as he is, I would think that WWE would want to renegotiate the contract. Maybe release him, talk to him again. It's like, hey, we just wanted to get, we didn't think about, talking to you about, hey, let's restructure the contract. Can we cut that? Can we save some money here, between us? Can we rework a contract here to where, July, once we get into July, or actually maybe even August or September, we could start to rework, your contract around maybe more like a portion, like increased portions of your shirts a part of your salary. And, as we get more on the road for the next couple years, because it was a 5-year deal at 2019 and we're what, 3 years into the deal. So next 2 years, maybe we could work out some where A lot of more of your money's coming from your t-shirts, your merchandise, sale, to where, we'll save some money on our end and you can still make your money. Can we work out some kind of contract with that or renegotiate that kind of deal? I can understand, cutting Braun in that aspect of trying to save money to a point, to a small point, because Braun Strowman's popular. He's one of their top guys. I would, bar none, say one of their top guys. Even on Raw, one of their top guys. I mean, he just had one hell of a match at WrestleMania with Shane McMahon. And that crazy, bonsai, see ya, Shane, off the top of the steel cage after ripping through the cage and pulling him back in like a bat out of hell, saying, get over here. And then, of course, losing at WrestleMania, or now, was it you lose at WrestleMania Backlash? I want to say he lost at WrestleMania. Yeah, he lost at WrestleMania Backlash in the triple threat match for the WWE Championship. Again, it's been a while, guys. Been off. But still, I would have kept Braun Strowman. I would literally keep Braun Strowman. I don't care. $1 million, whatever. Keep him. You cannot tell me that you cannot pay Braun Strowman another $2 million for the next 2 years of his contract. And then afterwards, renegotiate to maybe, hey, we want to work something out to cut a little bit. Cut a little bit. To a point. All right. Aleister Black. Oh, I'm going to go on a rant with this guy, ladies and gentlemen. This is a rant of the firings because this has been so stupid. Literally, for WWE right now, this is how bad WWE right now is. And it's still falling. Ladies and gentlemen, WWE is in serious trouble. And I don't know what can be done about it. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if there's a pill that they can take. I don't know if there's a drink that they can, fluctuate. I don't know if there is somebody that could do something to save the ship. That is WWE right now. But Lord, it's getting bad, guys. And I know I have said this on past shows. Many times I've said this in past shows. There's a high point in WWE's last several years, many years. They always have a high going into WrestleMania. It goes low, starts picking back up at, gets high back again at SummerSlam, goes back down low, Survivor Series up again, Royal Rumble, a little dip, and then Royal Rumble, and then it slowly comes down about No Way Out, Elimination Chamber, then goes right back up for WrestleMania. Pandemic version right now, since this whole pandemic started, after Elimination Chamber in 20, down, WrestleMania, pick it up, and then back down. Okay, some good points, some SummerSlam. Okay, SummerSlam, we're going to, okay, some good points, and then shot back down. Survivor Series didn't help at all. Royal Rumble, a little bit of a pickup, shot back down. And then the word of the millennia, we're going to have fans at WrestleMania. Pshing! Shot back up. And now back down, WrestleMania Backlash, we're coming down. The news of firings literally dropping off the cliff. And unfortunately for WWE, it is, I don't know where in the world is going to happen with these guys. I don't know. how these guys are going to save this ship. I mean, literally, the only thing we're waiting on is,
Where's the kaboom? There was supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom.
and we're getting close to it, unfortunately. But back to the ramp. Aleister Black. What were they thinking? I mean, you guys just, WWE brings him back. You know, they take him off TV, bring him back, start building this new, this character, Aleister Black in his new route. Building him up. Braun back on TV on the SmackDown to get into a program with Big E. Or at least to get into a program with the Intercontinental Championship. I could have seen that. I could have understood that. And then, a week later, bye. Gone. I got nothing on that. I literally feel bad for, not even feel bad. I feel sick for Aleister Black. I mean, not only in the span of a year, your wife gets fired for policy changes in WWE of we're trying to control all the content, online content you guys are doing. We want, if you're a gamer, we want you to shut it down and only do on our gaming channel right now because we're trying to get into Twitch. No. Shoot, I'm trying to OnlyFans content stuff. And yeah, it just got worse. It's getting worse. And, after, the tumultuous time of, have Zelina fired and now you're off TV and even saying, hey, I want to go back to NXT. If you guys are not going to, again, main roster's not doing it for me right now. I feel like I could do more at NXT. Sorry, you're not going. You stay home. And then you get called back, say, hey, we got something for you. Okay, let's start doing promos. 1 week promo, 2 week promo, 3 week promo, maybe 4 week of promos. And then come back to Impact, moment, and then a week later, gone. Just completely stupid. And unfortunately, Aleister Black was one of their better ones. Unfortunately, I don't think he should have been ever released. I think he should be still still working for WWE, even if it's at NXT. And NXT's been proving great wonders right now in rejuvenating. Look at Finn Balor, rejuvenating his role by leaps and bounds. Lana released. As much as I want to throw hate on Lana, as much as I want to throw maybe some shade at her to a point, for the fact that, her wrestling was not as great as some of the others. The fact that she was just, she came in as a manager, at least, in my view, coming in as a manager for Rusev, aka Miro, and then not having the best matches, and then just getting put into really, mismanaged bad segments, divorcing Rusev to go with Bobby Lashley, which she ended up breaking up with. And then, even bringing Liv Morgan in, that whole, that situation, trying to make chicken salad out of chicken shit. Essentially, that's what Lana was trying to do the entire time. And I feel like she had her groove with Naomi as a tag team. Unfortunately, I really do think she had a groove with Naomi as a tag team. And I'm going to get to the Divas, not to the Divas. I'm going to get to the women's roster in a minute. I got stuff to say on that too. but it's unfortunate Lana is now gone from WWE. She's out. Ruby Riott. And here's that moment that I said that I was going to talk about with the women's roster. Ruby Riott gone from WWE. This is, again, another bad decision making in the world. And I don't feel like WWE has, I don't even think it's WWE in general. I think it's Vince. Or, you know, I'm not going to say Hunter. I'm not going to say Steph. Because I feel like they would have at least said, you know what, we want to keep her. You know, we want to keep, you know, there's got to be something for her to do. And they had something for her to do. Riot Squad with Liv. And it's been working. And I just don't understand why you would get rid of Riot Squad members. You know, Riot Squad. I mean, it just feels like bad decision making all around. And there's no understanding. I mean, this woman literally comes back from injury and is not really in the title picture, but is hopefully to get a tag team title picture with her best friend. And it just seems like really bad timing and everything. It sucks. We lost Ruby Riott to firings. And the roster now for the women's roster right now is looking scarce to where I feel like, especially on SmackDown, looking at the roster right now, Bayley, Bianca, Carmella, Liv, Natty, Sasha, and Tamina. And, of course, Reckoning, a.k.a. Mia Yim. Okay? So you have 2, 4, 6, 8. You have 8 women on a roster. Okay? Bianca's your reigning world, your SmackDown Women's Champ. Natalya and Tamina are your tag team champions. There's 3 spots right there. Okay? Sasha, haven't seen since WrestleMania. Okay? We just got done with a Bianca and Bayley situation. So there's 2 spots right there. There's 2 more spots. So you got 5. I'm not even going to count Sonya Deville because she's, as far as we know, she's an on-screen authority figure. So, that right there. So you have 3 people as a rotating challenger for your women's championship. For your SmackDown Women's Championship. Because Natalya and Tamina right now are more focused on the Raw brand. At least right now. Because that's where the tag teams are. Unfortunately. And I feel like Bianca, unfortunately, has just gotten snake bit. A royally snake bit bad situation. Let's be honest. Okay? Unless Natalya and Tamina are going to somehow do rock, paper, scissors, a coin flip to decide, okay, you know what, which one of us wants to go after the SmackDown Women's Championship? There's only 3 people that can go for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Bayley, Carmella, Liv. Or sorry, make that 4 with Mia, but we haven't seen her in a while. Okay, so you have 3 people. 3 people to challenge Bianca Belair. And unfortunately, Bianca is snake bitten to these 3 people. She is locked into these 3 people. Unless Natalya or Tamina wants to try to do a Bayley and Sasha from last year and see if they want to go and hold both the Raw and the SmackDown Women's SmackDown Championships along with the tag team titles. I don't see it happening, unfortunately. Because Natalya and Tamina are more focused on the tag team aspect and holding down the women's tag team titles, which right now I don't even think should be in existence. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, Natalya and Tamina. As much as you've worked hard to get those tag team titles, I don't see a tag team division for the women. When you have Bailey, Carmella, I could see those two as a tag team. They're friends. They're former best friends. They're best friends. They could work. There's one tag team on SmackDown. You had two with the Riot Squad and Ruby and Liv. So you had two besides Tamina and Natalya who are on SmackDown. You had two others. Interchangeable right there. Tagged, two teams on SmackDown. Raw. Okay, let's go the stacked Raw roster that they have. Bliss, Asuka, Becky, Charlotte, Dana. I'm not even going to count Eva Marie because we have not seen her. Has not wrestled. Not even going to go into that. Lacey, Mandy, Naomi, Nia, Nikki, Rhea, Shayna. 1, 2, 3. Well, actually, Kavitz say Becky. Well, yeah, she's on the roster, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You got 12 women. Let me double check my math. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, 12 women. Rhea's your women's champion right now. So 11 women on that roster right now on Raw compared to the 8. Okay, take out Becky Lynch. She's out for maternity leave. Take out Lacey. She's out on maternity leave. So that leaves us with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 women. 9 women on Raw to the short amount of 9 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9 to 8. Or sorry, 9 to 7. 9 to 7. And I don't even know why I'm literally. Take out the women's champions, tag team champions, and the women's champion. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 women without titles on SmackDown compared to 9 on Raw without a title. 10 with the title on Raw. Eight women on Raw on SmackDown. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 to 9. What are the odds? Literally just the worst odds. Okay? Tag team wrestling for the women on Raw. Okay? Obviously, Jax and Baszler. There's one. Who else? I do not. I mean, it was Lacey and Mandy, but Lacey's out with maternity leave. She's out. Okay. You had Charlotte and Asuka, but nope, not anymore. Alexa Bliss. She's not. She was with Nikki Cross, but now Alexa's still off in, world with Lily now. So you have no tag teams on the Raw roster. I mean, you had Naomi and Lana, but Lana's now gone. So what in the blue hell are you going to do? Sorry, let me rephrase that. Dana and Mandy, there's a tag team. There's one tag team. So you have 2 tag teams on Raw. 2 tag teams and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people to challenge for the Raw Women's title. And you got 4 people or 2 teams to challenge for the tag team titles. Not your best odds here to create a functioning roster for titles over there. I seriously don't know what's going on. I keep saying this every week too. NXT is killing it. NXT women could kill, literally kill in competition, matches, and content compared to the Raw and SmackDown rosters right now. Eyes closed, hands behind back, couldn't even touch them. They're so good right now. With Candice LeRae, Andy Hartwell, Raquel Gonzalez, Mercedes Martinez, Shotzi, Tony, Zoe Stark, Casey Catanero, Dakota Kai, Ember Moon. They can literally run, Raquel Gonzalez, they can run circles around the Raw and SmackDown women's division without even breaking a sweat or even trying. Even if SmackDown's women's division and Raw's women's division we're in a race and they had a 4 mile lap, a 4 mile, track on a 4 mile track, 4 laps, NXT would beat them without breaking a sweat. That's how confident I am in the NXT women's division than I am right now in the main roster's division. And it's scary. But good. And even with torn ACL, Tegan Nox could kill it. With a torn ACL, she could beat everyone on the SmackDown Raw women's rosters just for how much she's been doing. And it's unfortunate for the Raw and SmackDown brands right now. It's just scary. But moving back along, because again, I think I've had my rant with, just on, with losing Ruby Riott and the state of the women's division on both rosters. Buddy Murphy, sucks for him too. He did some great content, of course, with Seth. Of course, the pace, the constant repeat with the storyline with the Mysterios, for months on end. And then it just transferred over to SmackDown. Okay. But he still had some great matches, guys. It was great, especially with Aleister Black. It was great. But the fact that in a span, of course, Wednesday, and then of course you're losing from April, Samoa Joe, Billy Kay, Chelsea Green, Mickie James, Tucker, Kalisto, Wesley Blake, Bo Dallas, and Peyton Royce in literally 2 months. I literally don't know why this is happening. Obviously it can't be a money situation because obviously Peacock paid how much for the WWE network? What was it? $1 billion? Let me go back and check my notes from the last some odd months. That Peacock paid for what? $1 billion for WWE Network? Trying to find it in the obviously maybe 2020, maybe 21. I have to check. Again, I have to check. Well, I remember last time. Yeah, let's see. Let's see how much it paid. Yeah, $1 billion. $1 billion to buy WWE networks. Buy the WWE network and put it on their site. $1 billion. You can't tell me that the release of these superstars was cost efficient. Can't do that. I wouldn't believe it that it was for cost related release or these cost release reasons. Can't buy that. What else? Save money. We're trying to cut so we could probably get Brock Lesnar back. Okay. If you're trying to, save some money, cut some big contracts or try to cut some money down so you can try to get Brock Lesnar back for what? A part-time contract that's worth buku bucks for him. That's only going to drive what? Maybe SummerSlam up an extra couple buys. Maybe Survivor Series. Maybe the Royal Rumble. Heck, maybe even WrestleMania or even during WrestleMania season. For a quick little bit and then back to normal. I don't buy it. Now, while Brock Lesnar, yes, I do believe can be a good short-term draw, you got to put him with someone that's going to help the cause. If it's just to get Brock Lesnar back under WWE's banner, waste of money. Brock Lesnar, yes, he could draw. But a short-term fix for a long-term problem ain't going to help, Jack. It's just going to make it worse because once Brock Lesnar leaves and he's going to want his money again to sign again for another contract, where are you going to go for the money? We're going to cut more talent. Wrong answer. Because now you're going to give, again, with these cuts, losing Braun, Aleister, Lana, Ruby, Buddy, Samoa Joe, Chelsea Green, Mickie James, Billie Kay, Kalisto, Peyton Royce, Bo Dallas. Where do you think all these wrestlers are going to go now? New Japan, Impact, AEW. You're giving them more you're giving yourself more competition. And as we saw with Double or Nothing, it's obviously working. And as obvious as it's going to be for once we get to Slammiversary for TNA, depending on what their plan is for Slammiversary coming up in what? A month or so? What? Slammiversary's what? July, yeah. So next month, another Slammiversary again. And they're obviously hyping up bringing Okada, No Limit with Tenzan Naito and Yuri Tanahashi. I mean, again, it was in their promo for Slammiversary. Samoa Joe, Mickie James, Chelsea Green, or a.k.a. Laura Van Ness, Okada, Naito, the Great Muta, flags with Mexico, Australia, Canada, Mexico maybe represent Kalisto, Australia, the Iconics, and someone else. Bullet Club logo. So again, I don't, and maybe because Daniel Bryan's not signed, Daniel Bryan going to Impact. We don't know. Slammiversary is playing up some big names here that they're trying to get, or maybe have signed, or would like to get, and teasing, trying to get people to go over to Impact. But if they've already, if they're signing them secretively and nothing's been said until night of, like what they did last time with the Good Brothers when they left, and then night of Slammiversary, I think, what was it, Slammiversary last year? That they signed with TNA. Yeah. Literally, they had signed, Gallows and Anderson. They announced they had signed 2-year deals with Impact Wrestling and will be at Slammiversary. So, literally, things could happen. And WWE right now is in serious, big-time trouble. And it's scary. For someone who has been a lifelong watching wrestling and watching WWE, and yes, watching WCW, and of course, seeing what the same mirror image of AEW right now kicking the living shit out of WWE, it is scary. Because again, if you remember your history, those who failed to learn from history are doomed to repeat it. Unfortunately, this time around, it looks like Turner Network has learned from its mistake, especially with AEW, with WCW against WWE. And right now, AEW is kicking the crap out of WWE. I would say that, unfortunately. All right, off of the bad. Actually, well, there's one more little bad news part, but it's not with releases or anything. It's with injury. Let's head on over to Japan for a quick more second. New Japan Pro Wrestling's world champion Will Ospreay vacated the world title after sustaining a neck injury. After night 2 of wrestling Dongtuku, after defending his title against Shingo Taiji, Will Ospreay was supposed to defend his title, the world title, against Okada at Wrestling Grand Slam at the Tokyo Dome. But due to the fact that there's a state of emergency going on in Tokyo, Wrestle Grand Slam has been postponed. But then May 20th, Ospreay had vacated the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship due to a neck injury. And then during the road to Wrestle Grand Slam, both Shingo Taiji and Okada challenged for the vacant title, and has been official that at Dominion we will have a IWGP World Heavyweight Championship between Okada and Taiji for the vacant title. And let's just run down that card quickly before we talk about what else has been going on in the world of wrestling. Jeff Cobb and Kota Ibushi will go one-on-one at Dominion. The IWGP Junior Heavyweight title is up for grabs. El Desperado, the champ, will take on Yo. In a 6-man tag action, we'll have Los Angeles Again, the name Butcher is back, baby. Ladies and gentlemen, the name Butcher is back. Los Angeles delete. Los Ingobernables de Japan, Bushi Sanada, and Tensei Naito, that team, will take on Suzuki Gun of Douki, Tachi, and Zack Sabre Jr. And, of course, in a 10-man tag team action, we'll have Hiroshi Tanahashi and Chaos taking on a Bullet Club in a 10-man action. Man. Again, name Butcher is back. When talking about, New Japan Pro Wrestling, guys, I'm back. All right, let's get into what went down. Actually, last little bit. Otherwise, news. NXT TakeOver Dublin for this month has been canceled. Unfortunately, it was supposed to take place on June 20th, on Sunday, the June 20th, but unfortunately, it has been canceled, which sucks. Would have love to have seen it. But let's talk about what went down at Double or Nothing this past week. And full packed house at Darby's place down there in Florida for God knows how long we've been waiting on this. We have had AEW's Double or Nothing pre-show in the buy-in. We had Serena Deb taking on Rio, NWA Women's Championship match. Deb defeats Rio with a submission and retains the NWA Women's Championship. It was a good match. Opening matchup for the buy-in at Double or Nothing. Opening contest, of course, Hangman Page taking on the Machine, Brian Cage. This was a showstopper, literally, to kick off the show. Brian Cage, Hangman Page, Brian Cage and Hangman Page just back and forth. At one point, we thought Cage was going to get it, but of course, thanks to his fellow members in Team Taz, causing distractions and miscues, miscommunications, and more along the lines of Cage wanting to do him himself. Hangman Page hits the buckshot lariat, beats Brian Cage, and walks out the victor. Little trouble in paradise with Team Taz right now with the FTW World Champs, and his buddies not on the same page. AEW World Tag Team titles up for grabs. Young Bucks taking on Mox and Eddie Kingston, and I've been loving what Kingston and Moxley have been doing, especially Moxley coming out to Wild Thing now. The Major League version, if you not the Trogs one, but the rocker version, which was awesome. But it was even cool to see him come out to the Trogs version for his IWGP US Heavyweight title match on Dynamite. That was cool. That was real cool. But yeah, Young Bucks take on Mox and Kingston for the tag team titles. Great matchup. Thought Mox and Eddie were going to get it, but unfortunately, after severe amounts of V triggers, tag team style, to Mox, the Bucks pick up the victory, retain the tag team titles. The Casino Battle Royal winner gets a shot at the AEW World Champion, whether it be Omega, Cassidy, or Pac down the road. It was a great matchup, guys. Great Battle Royal right there. And out of everyone to come out of the last two, of course, we had Christian Cage and Jungle Boy. And Jungle Boy picking up the victory as your number one contender for the AEW World Championship. You will get a future shot down the line. Cody taking on Anthony Ogogo. Cody, the American Dream, picks up the victory in a great matchup right there. TNT title up for grabs. Miro, the best man, taking on Lance Archer. Awesome matchup between these two guys. Miro retains the TNT Championship. AEW Women's title up for grabs. Britt Baker taking on Haruka Shita as she defends her Women's Championship. And Britt Baker making Haruka Shita tap out, becoming your new AEW Women's Champion. And his first match in 6 years? I would think off the top of my head, 6 years for the old Stizinger. I would say 6 years since Night of Champions? No, 5 years. 5 years since his Clash of Champions matchup. And he and Darby Allin taking on Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. It was an awesome matchup. We got to see the old Stinger back in action, and he still looks as great as he does. Sting and Darby Allin picking up the victory in a great tag team action match. Triple threat match or three-way dance for the AEW World Championship. Kenny Omega, Orange Cassidy, and Pac. This was awesome, guys. I loved every second of it. It was an awesome match. Unfortunately for Cassidy and Pac, Kenny Omega retains the belt collector. Still has his crown jewel, the AEW World title. And then, of course, the main event, Inner Circle, the Pinnacle, and Stadium Stampede. And if the Inner Circle had lost, they would be disbanded. This was another crazy matchup. And I loved every second of this match. It was awesome. We got to see Conan make an appearance. Representing, LAX for TNA right there. TNA Impact right there. during the bar scene with FTR and Tully Blanchard right in there, and of course the highlight of that one was the comment of, "Well, Tully Blanchard looks like he just came out of a bunkhouse brawl back in 19. I forgot the exact year they said, but looking like he was coming out of a bunkhouse brawl." Yeah, he did. He looked like he was out of a bunkhouse brawl match back then in the old WCW days, the old NWA WCW days. It was awesome to see that again. The golf cart chase again. The Inner Circle scaling down from the top of the Jumbotron down there at Jacksonville, home of the Jags. And it was an awesome matchup, guys. Go back and rewatch it. It was awesome. Heck, you even got to see Herb Meyer in there get some airtime in that matchup. In the office with Jericho throwing footballs and then hitting MJF with a computer upside on the back. It was too good. But Inner Circle picks up the victory. Pinnacle lose. The Inner Circle is still alive in AEW. Can't wait to see what they're going to do now. I mean, to say the least, Inner Circle and Pinnacle are tied. If you want to go at it, they're tied up. They got to have a third match between these guys. I mean, Inner Circle won Stadium Stampede. Pinnacle won Blind Guts, the revamped original War Game style. What do you think they're going to do for an encore for a third match? I mean, you got to think the Pinnacle is going to want to do something, want to get a match, one more match out of these guys. At some point between now, I would say within the next several weeks, maybe even a month or so. What do you think that they would want to do with these, what kind of match would you want to do with these guys? I mean, we did the Stadium Stampede. We finally got Blood and Guts. But what else could you do for AEW? What could you do? Because, I mean, again, the next pay-per-view is not until All Out, not until September. And it's going to be down there in Chicago. So, I don't know what you could do between now and... I mean, it would probably have to be a special a special Dynamite you're going to have to do. Because, again, with the Inner Circle losing in the Blood and Guts match at Blood and Guts and then winning at Stadium Stampede, what else could you do in AEW? I don't know. They're probably going to have to dig somewhere deep for this, because that's going to be very interesting to say the least. Other big news of that pay-per-view, of course, Mark Henry is now signed with AEW. Another WWE Hall of Famer, another WWE icon jumped the ship and is now on the opponent's side of the world at AEW. And that one I didn't expect coming. That one was a real shocker to see Mark Henry switch over. And that's all I'm going to say with Mark Henry switching over. All right. Now that we talked about what went down at AEW, of course, we can't really talk about what went down at AEW anymore because they're a Friday show now. They're Thursday. Yeah, they're a Friday. Well, they're now on Friday. They're on Fridays for a little bit because of the NBA playoffs going on, and then of course they're soon going to be moving on over to TBS. Unfortunately, because Turner's going to be getting a little bit more action over there in the future. Well, 1 second. All right. Raw this past week, let's get with SmackDown this past week. Talk a little bit what went down on this show. Of course, Usos taking on Street Profits. And that one was okay. It was a good matchup, you guys. Usos picking up the victory. And then, of course, they have asked for this coming week, a SmackDown Tag Team title opportunity, which they have gotten against whoever wins the SmackDown Tag Team titles later in the show. Tamina and Natalya, of course, beat the Riot Squad the final time that we would have seen them in tag team action. Bianca Belair defeats Carmella in one-on-one action. Kevin Owens taking on Apollo Crews in one-on-one action. Kevin Owens picks up the victory via disqualification. Shinsuke Nakamura taking on Chad Gable. Shinsuke picking up the victory. And then, of course, main event for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. Rey and Dominic defending against Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler. Rey and Dominic retain their father and son dreams keep alive as they're still your SmackDown Tag Team champions. And are now going to be challenged by the Usos for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. Monday Night Raw this past week saw Nikki Cross taking on Charlotte Flair in a beat the clock challenge. The second one in the last 2 weeks against the supposed Hell in a Cell matchup opponents, Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair for the Raw Women's title at Hell in a Cell. And this brings up the question: should Nikki deserve it? Be a part of the Hell in a Cell championship match? I mean, matchup at the championship match at Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. It's not in Hell in a Cell right now. Yeah, I do believe that it should be a triple threat, but of course, we just got done with a Raw Women's Championship triple threat, so I could possibly either see that on a triple threat on Raw, or Charlotte having to defend her number one contender status against Nikki Cross. I could see that. Randy Orton taking on Xavier Woods in one-on-one action. Randy Orton beats Woods with Riddle's bro down. The Bear Derricks? Or I cannot think of the name. I cannot think of his signature move off the top of my head, but it's like the bro down or the. I want to say it's the bro down. It's gonna bother me if I get this wrong. It's gonna bother me. Literally, I'm gonna hate myself. I'm gonna hate. Think it is gonna bother me now. Darn it. Do. Do. Yeah, I cannot find it. Meh. All right. It's gonna bother me. Oh, Bro Derek. I was close. I was somewhat close. But yeah, Bro Derek. Yep. Randy Orton uses Bro Derek on Xavier Woods. Randy Orton picks up the victory. And I'm loving the RK Bro right now. I'm loving this tag team. I feel like that maybe they could pull off a tag team miracle and become tag team champions. I could see that. And beating AJ Styles and Omos. I could see that. Give it to SummerSlam. I want to see what they do with this at SummerSlam. If they can keep the momentum, I want to see AJ, Omos, Orton, Riddle, SummerSlam. I want to see that. And of course, we're going to find out where SummerSlam is going to be this year. We'll find that out this coming weekend. I believe they're going to announce that during the horse races during this weekend. I want to say that there's going to be an announcement this coming weekend during the I want to say the Preakness or the Belmont this coming week and on NBC this weekend. And now again, it's like trying to remember where they said that it was going to happen. The location. Just trying to find that out for you guys. Of like, I guess I remember seeing that they were going to make that announcement this weekend due to, not really due to, but make the announcement so they could get ticket sales started for SummerSlam coming up. Come on. Where was it? I know it's in my notes somewhere. Trying to find notes. Yeah, let's see. If I remember. Yep. Nope, not that one. That'd be the next one that I saw. Seriously, I cannot find where the heck it was. I swear I said it was going to be announced on NBC this weekend. But it's just one of those things where you found it but you can't find it again. Or you've seen it but you can't find it, which is like, help me to help you, help me to help you, help me to help you kind of moments. Yeah, it's during the Belmont. Sorry, I did get it right. It will be announced during the Belmont Stakes pre-race show. So it'll be announced sometime during that race coming up this week, actually on this Saturday, guys. So be sure to be checking out the Belmont Stakes pre-race show for location of SummerSlam. And then, of course, tickets for SummerSlam will go on sale Friday, June 18th. Rumor has it that it will be in Las Vegas, down there at Raider Nation's new home at at their new home. And again, I would not be surprised if it is going to be down there in Vegas at Al Davis's new home at Allegiant Stadium. But there are others, of course, Hard Rock Stadium, Nissan Stadium in Tennessee, Hard Rock Stadium down there in Miami, SoFi, with, of course, the supposed home for WrestleMania, or actually the future site for WrestleMania in 2 years. That was supposed to take place this year, but of course, WrestleMania Tampa Bay got a redo, so they had to host this year, while Dallas gets next year. Our NRG Stadium down there in Houston, MetLife, back up in New York to host something. So there's some 6 spots that are going to potentially host this year's SummerSlam, but of course, we'll find out on Saturday during the Belmont Stakes pre-show. So check that out, guys. Back to Raw. Reginald taking on Shayna Baszler, one-on-one action, some weird pyro coming up, distraction. Reginald picks up the victory over Shayna. Mason T-Bar taking on Lucha House Party. Mason T-Bar picking up the victory in tag team action. Ricochet challenging Sheamus in one-on-one action. Ricochet picks up the victory on the United States champion. Humberto Carlo gets a shot at Sheamus, and he also picks up the victory over Sheamus in one-on-one action. Not for the U.S. title, of course, in both of those matches. Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose taking on Naomi and the Final Time Lana. Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose pick up the victory in the women's tag team action. Cedric Alexander taking on Shelton Benjamin in one-on-one action. Alexander picks up the victory over his former partner, Shelton Benjamin. Raw tag team titles up for grabs as AJ Styles and Omos taking on Elias and Jackson Riker. Styles and Omos retain their tag team titles. And then, of course, number 1 contenders opportunity rematch from the previous week. Drew McIntyre taking on Kofi Kingston. And, of course, winner will face Bobby Lashley at Hell in a Cell pay-per-view for the WWE Championship. If Lashley or MVP interfered in the match or even showed up at ringside, they would have a 90-day suspension, and Mr. Lashley would be stripped of the WWE Championship. Great matchup, to say the least. Everyone thinking we're going to get a Kofi Kingston versus Bobby Lashley match, but of course we're going to get another for the third pay-per-view in a row in some capacity. Drew McIntyre taking on Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship as Drew McIntyre picks up the victory over Kofi Kingston. That was Monday Night Raw. Head on over to NXT. Pete Dunne, Johnny Gargano, and Kyle O'Reilly in a triple threat match to determine a number 1 contender for the NXT Championship at NXT TakeOver in Your House. Unfortunately, that great opening matchup ended up in chaos and no contest, as thanks to Mr. Adam Cole, baby, interfered and caused so much chaos that the match, I don't know why, but the match was stopped as Ember Moon just comes on out and even calls out Raquel Gonzalez when they all come back from break. And yeah, so match ends in no contest. Later in the night, Adam Cole wants a shot at the NXT Championship. Doesn't get it, but he doesn't get the one-on-one opportunity. But thanks to Cross, he tells Regal, hey, I want them all. Give me Cole, give me Riley, give me Pete, and give me Johnny Wrestling. I want to whoop all four of their asses. So it will be a fatal 5-way match at TakeOver in Your House for the NXT Championship of the World. NXT Cruiserweight Championship up for grabs. Kushida in an open challenge gets challenged by Carmelo Hayes. And a great matchup, guys. A very great matchup for Carmelo Hayes. But unfortunately, Kushida gets the better of him. In an awesome Cruiserweight Championship match, Kushida retains his NXT Cruiserweight title. NXT Women's Tag Team titles up for grabs as Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell taking on Zoe Starks and Sadea Ramir, The Way picking up the win and retaining their NXT Women's Tag Team titles along the way. And then the NXT Tag Team titles for the men's side, MSK taking on Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wild as part of. Oh, shoot. No. I am now blanking on the tag team name. Oh, sorry. Escobar's crew. Legado del Fantasma. That's what happens when you don't put in your notes, ladies and gentlemen. In tag team action, great action between these guys. Unfortunately for Legado del Fantasma, MSK picks up the victory and retains their NXT tag team titles. But we do have more matches announced for NXT TakeOver in Your House. LA Knight will take on Cameron Grimes in one-on-one action. Xia Li will take on Mercedes Martinez. And in a one-on-one NXT Women's Championship opportunity, Raquel Gonzalez will be challenged by Ember Moon. And, of course, the Fatal 5-Way for the NXT Championship. Karrion Kross, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Pete Dunne, and Johnny Gargano for the NXT Championship of the World. That is TakeOver in Your House. That, again, I cannot wait for NXT TakeOver in Your House. It is going to be just too wee. I know I don't have the sound effect ready for you guys for that one, but took a little bit on me. That's going to be coming up in 10 days, June 13th, from the Performance Center at the Capital Wrestling Arena. Or, sorry, the Capital Wrestling Center. And this, I like it. This is going to be the first TakeOver in Your House to air traditionally on pay-per-view since St. Valentine's Day Massacre in Your House. So, I mean, again, this is the second one. So it's nice to see that the In Your House brand is coming back strong, and it's looking good, guys, in the NXT universe. But yeah, that is NXT. And of course, Hell in a Cell is going to be literally 7 more days later. And of course, we already have 2 matches on the books. Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre for the WWE title, and Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair for the Raw Women's title. No Hell in a Cells matches just yet, but I'm thinking we're probably going to get Cesaro versus Seth inside the cell. Wouldn't be surprised if Drew and Bobby go to Hell too for this match for the WWE Championship, and we see it inside Hell in a Cell. Coming up June 20th. But that is going to be it for me, guys, for the week. And man, have I missed this show. It has been a long time since we've been together. Let's see. Was there anything else I was supposed to plug? It's been a while. Of course, I know I got to do some house cleaning and gonna plug some stuff. But wait, in the month that I've been gone, hasn't there also been another announcement? Oh yeah, there has been. Yes. If you've been paying attention to what's been going on here on the Flex Network, my good buddy, literally my good buddy, the man himself, Flex Matt, is running his own shizzo coming up June 25th here in Everett, Washington at the Scuttlebutt Tap Room. And he's going to have a shizzo for you guys coming up June 25th on a Friday, guys. And man, oh man, does he have a shizzo for you guys. I know I probably need to get him on here for a little powwow to break down what is going to be happening at this show. But again, I know I'm going to have, he's going to have to come out here and plug some matches for you guys, but I'm going to run down what I've seen so far that he's going to have, but I'm sure he'll have more matches for you guys to announce for this event. As we already have one match in the books right now. Lucas Riley taking on Nick Wayne. And of course, that matchup is brought to you by Without a Cause, our brothers here also in Everett, Washington. The event, Scuttlebutt Spot Fest 1, the beginning. Tickets have been on sale, guys. I don't know if they're still on, but I'm pretty sure that they're still on sale. Hope you guys can go to it. It is going to be awesome. June 25th. Undercards at 7 o'clock. Main cards at 8 o'clock. You can get your tickets at www.brainbustertix.com. Make sure you guys go and get some ticks. Come on down to the show. It's going to be awesome. That was the wrestling plug for this, but let's get back on the other side for all of our other accounts, because of course football season's starting to get back into the swing of things. We just got done with the NFL draft. That means we're that much closer to the NFL season beginning. So of course we're also going to be talking about fantasy football, guys. That's coming back into the fold once we get NFL season started. But of course, everything you can follow us at the Flex Network 1 for your football and fantasy football needs. On Twitter, you can follow us for your MMA and UFC fix at MMA Evergreen. And of course, you should be following us here at FlexNet_PW Elite for all of your wrestling content. And of course, our YouTube pages, just search Flex Network for your football and fantasy football content. And of course, search Flex Network Wrestling for that wrestling content. And of course, you can find us on Facebook as well, the Flex Network. You could find us pretty much anywhere. And of course, our podcast, if you guys love what you're listening to here on our shows and you want to take us on the road with us, we are on all those podcasts, ladies and gentlemen. We are on Apple. We are on Spotify. We are on all the major ones. But if we're not somewhere where you listen to podcasts, let us know. We'll get on that and we'll get to that place and we will flex on them and we'll bring the content to you there also. But that is going to be it for me, guys. I know last time I said, oh yeah, well, I'll see you guys next week, and then I'm back almost 4 weeks later. Well, I can actually say this time I will be back next week with another show as we inch closer to Takeover in Your House. Hell in a Cell is on the horizon, and boy, oh boy, we got more great things coming up on the horizon for you guys here on the Flex Network Wrestling Show. But that's going to be it for me. I am the SnowMan, and I will see you guys next week. Peace out. Bye.
This has been the Pro Wrestling Weekend Review Show.
You got some fellow Canadians.
But when you're from Calgary,
Where's that?
Alberta, Canada,
A one-way first-class ticket to Larryland.
What is it with you folks coming to Florida? Stay in your own country.
This is the Flex Network. This is the Flex Network. Flex on them. Flex on everybody.
Why me? Why me? Why me?
Don't blame Canada, blame yourself.
Feels like showtime every minute to me. I can't help it.
No. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Ta-ta for now.
We're out of time. Good night on Nitro.
The preceding announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
Well, you're welcome, Jurassic Slap Ass.